And you don't need them right this very second, but one on either side of your mat will work just fine. And we'll start in Baddha Konasana today, bound angle. So soles of the feet come together, and typically it winds up being just the pinky toe edges of the feet, unless you're actively pressing them together, which is not what we're after today. So just let the sides of your feet touch and your hands fall anywhere along this line of the shin where you can sit up really tall. So if holding on to ankles causes some flexion in the spine, move back to where you can sit up tall and stack each vertebra one on top of the other. So that's what we're focused on today, is this main axis, this central channel, this Sushumna Nadi. In all of our postures, and in all of the postures that we do ever, we always want to be thinking about what the spine is doing, keeping it safe, keeping it strong, keeping it supple. So kind of letting that sit in the back of your mind. Let your hands rest where they can be comfortable and that you can find a long spine. Let your eyes close. And start to feel into the sides of your feet where they're in contact with the mat, into the sitting bones, into the seat, maybe a little bit of the back of the thigh, kind of where your hamstrings meet your rear end. And bring your attention to the bottommost part of your spine. So from your tailbone all the way up to the top of the pelvis, those fused bones in the sacrum. Find a nice neutral place for them to be. And moving upward from there, that little dip forward in the low spine. Where the bones are no longer fused. Where they have a little bit of motion. Maybe find a little tilt forward and back, feeling the low back moving just a little bit. Moving up into the thoracic spine, where your ribs are attached, where there's even more movement available to you. Maybe finding a little roundness and openness right in the center there. And coming back to neutral, to his natural curves. And finally to the cervical spine, all the little bones in the neck. Maybe take a little left to right with the chin. And find neutral again. And as you watch your breath come in and out, watch as it moves down the spine all the way to the tailbone, all the way to the sitting bones, and then right back up and out. Watching as it moves up and down this main channel. nourishment to the spine, to all the rest of the parts of our bodies. And sending energy, waking up that main channel. If your eyes are closed, let them open. Send your arms out and up. And on your exhale, take your left hand to your right knee, your right hand behind you. Sit up tall, tall, tall. Look over your right shoulder. Inhale up into center and exhale, twist to the left. Keeping the spine long as you twist. So we just have this like perfect little spiral on the way up. And inhale back into center. Exhale, let your hands come down to your feet. Fold yourself forward. Bring your chin down to the chest. Feeling all those little muscles up either side of the spine. Maybe sending a little shake of the head no, and noticing what happens there. And then we'll make our way up, and we'll keep this shape of the legs, this Baddha Konasana, and we'll bring the blocks in for some support. So bring the flat, long edge of the block, or the flat, long side of the block to the thigh and the calf, and then the edge balanced on the mat. And then slowly lowering yourself down into reclined bound angle, Supta Baddha Konasana. So you have to scooch around a little bit. And letting the legs be fully supported here. Once again, bringing your attention to that main axis. From tail to the base of the skull. And feeling the support of the mat, of the floor, of the earth beneath that. And give yourselves a few breaths here so that the spine can find some space. Anytime we're upright, gravity is working on all of our bones and kind of squishing those discs. So giving the whole body just a little bit of a break here from holding us up. And imagining that you can bring breath in between each vertebra, letting it swirl around in there and let the discs kind of puff up. Those are our little shock absorbers that we kind of use and abuse throughout the day. So giving them a chance to rejuvenate as we find big, deep, full breath. Then bring the soles of the feet to the floor. You can leave the blocks where they are. We're going to use the one to your right later on. I don't know that we'll need the one to your left, so just kind of leave them where they are. And pull your knees into your chest. Find a little rock from hip to hip. Making it bigger so that you even find a rock from elbow to elbow. Noticing how your head stays still here. And then the reason that the rest of the body can move so freely is all that movement that we have in the neck. When we come back into center, keep your right knee into your chest. Extend the left leg out long and pull the right knee across your body into a twist. So if you want to use that block that's on the left to kind of support the shin, that might feel nice. And then noticing that spiral all the way from your left heel to the back of your head. This nice big long curvy line. And pull back into center, bring both knees back into your chest. Extend the right leg out long. Left knee comes across your body. And if you supported your right leg, do the same with the left. Maybe slide that under the left shin. Scoot your shoulders to the right if your left shoulder is kind of hanging in space. And then just notice the difference between this twist and the last. This one may feel a little more effortful or a little less. Not making a story about it, just noticing. And pull yourself right back into center. Both knees pull to your chest. And we'll start a little rock and roll forward and back. And even if you can come to standing on that first one, take a few just because it feels nice. And then however you manage to come to your feet, seeing if maybe you can do that without feet crossed, without touching hands to the floor, or doing all those things to make your way all the way up to mountain pose. And then finding your mountain once you get there, feet parallel or not, like we've talked about before. Maybe the toes turn out just ever so slightly so that the knees can track forward. And we'll inhale, lift up. On your exhale, send your arms back behind you, palms down. So pinkies are close to your body, thumbs are away. Bring your chest to your thighs. So in like a deep chair pose, heart forward. So the upper body is kind of in this cobra with the upper arms pulling toward one another, the heart pulling forward. So this nice long and strong spine resting on the base of this chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Sweep the arms out all the way up into standing. So we'll do that one a few times. Exhale into this kind of airplane chair. Inhale here. Exhale, fold, hips come up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to standing. Exhale, chair. Inhale here. So really when we're in this inhale, really strong arms, wide fingers, belly draws up, long, strong back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand. And one more time. Exhale, chair. Super strong upper body. Press down through the feet. Draw up through the belly. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to standing. And hands come to heart center. Just let your eyes close here for just a moment. Let your breath slow down if it's sped up. Let your heart rate slow. And send your arms out and up. Encircle your left wrist with your right thumb and forefinger. Come up tall, 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 and half moon over to the right. Really feeling all of those muscles like under your shoulder blade, all the way down to the left hip. Inhale into center, switch your grip, left fingers around right wrist, half moon to the left. And then again, maybe sending your right ribs up to the sky a little bit to really get into that sensation. Inhale into center, release the grip. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step your right foot back. Come into wide leg forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. Bring the block all the way up to the highest setting, but you may not use it there, and you may actually not use it at all. But a nice deep bend in your knees, hands to your hips, come all the way up into standing. And then drag your heels in toward one another so that toes are pointing out toward the corners of the mat. And you may, well, just see, but you may want to make your stance a little less wide when you see what we're up to here. So inhale up. Exhale down into goddess. So palms facing up, knees nice and wide. If it feels too wide, step in a little bit. But feel what the spine is up to here. Feel how much the back body has to work to stay upright. And bring your hands right into your hip flexors here and really lift up in the spine. Notice what happens in your legs here. If your legs feel like they want to collapse forward, draw them back a little bit. They may not actually travel very far, but I get the idea that you will actually be able to feel that pretty lot. I can anyway. It's a lot of work because of the way my hips are structured. Keeping the knees wide without collapsing in is a whole ton of work for me. Slide your hands down to your knees and then find a little forward fold here so that all that work is now just resting in your hands. The spine is nice and long. The legs are strong, but the knees aren't pulling back. It's kind of the heels of the hands are pushing back on the knees, and then the knees are pushing in on the hands. Take a nice big inhale breath. On your exhale, drop your right shoulder into the center. And a little push with the right hand to the right inner thigh there. You might find a little resistance there. See how that feels on the inner thigh. Still a nice long spine. Maybe even it feels a little traction for the spine as you inhale into center. Maybe take an extra breath here and get the spine even longer. Exhale, left shoulder drops into the middle. Heel of the left hand pushes back into the left knee. Come back into center and up into standing. Inhale, breath. Exhale, back into goddess. And then hands to hips, toes turn forward. So the outer edge of the feet are now parallel with the short edges of the mat. Hands to your hips, send your hips back, hinge forward, and then depending on what is up with you and your hamstrings, hand on the block or hand on the floor, whatever height you want, doesn't really matter. But maybe even if you can have the hand on the floor, use like the first height of the block, because we're gonna look at something here. So bring your right hand to your sacrum and feel your sacrum being level. And it may not automatically be level. You may kind of be shifted into one hip or the other. So actually do that, kind of shift over to the left, shift over to the right, and find central, find a neutral here in the sacrum. Now keep the sacrum from moving at all, or as much as that is possible. Start to lift the right shoulder and the eye gaze up. Do you feel how your hips automatically kind of want to shift over to the right? See if you can keep that level, even if it restricts your twist. And then bring the right hand down, bring the left hand to the sacrum and do the same thing. So find a neutral here, kind of wiggle back and forth until you find it flat. Keep it as level as you can. Left shoulder lifts, eye gaze looks up to the left. And feel how much work that is. Exhale down. This time, right hand comes to the sacrum, find it level first. Shoulder comes up, eye gaze comes up, then let it shift. Kind of letting the right hip take some of that and the right hip kind of lifts up. Send your right fingertips up to the ceiling. See how much more freedom you have when you kind of let the hips and spine shift where they want to go instead of keeping them anchored. And then exhale back down. Same thing, left side. Start out nice and even. Left shoulder lifts, eye gaze comes up. Then let the hips shift over to the left and the left hand comes up. Then exhale back down. I like that experiment just because it just shows how everything works together. If you isolate the spine and the pelvis and only keep them from moving, then it really restricts your movement. But if you let everybody play along, you can move a little bit more. Okay, and then walk your hands back up to the top of your mat. Step back into your downward dog just for one big inhale. And one long exhale. Lower down onto your knees. Let your knees be wide. Toes come together. Shift your hips back into a child's pose. and walk your hands over to the left edge of your mat. Right hand rests on top of the left hand. And then exhale down into your child's pose. So we find this length from the right wrist to the right hip. And a couple breaths here. Then lift up, walk all the way over to the right. Left hand rests on top of right. Finding length down the whole left side of the body from the tip of the pinky to the hip. Walk back into center. Send your left hand right into the middle of the mat. Inhale, reach up. Right hand, and then exhale into your twist just long enough to complete your exhale. Inhale, back up. Right hand comes down, left hand reaches up. Big inhale. Exhale, twist. Stay into the bottom of your exhale. Inhale, reach back up. And then settle back down into your child's pose for a breath. And come all the way up to your tabletop so that you can make your way to your back. For the first couple breaths in constructive rest, so knees knocked together, feet flat on the mat and a little bit wide. Maybe a hand on the belly and on the heart. And when you're ready, moving into your Shavasana with long legs, long arms, eyes closed. Letting your breath move up and down the spine. Gratitude for all that our spine does. And maybe a little promise to it to keep it healthy and moving for as long as we are able. Let's find a couple more breaths. And when you're ready, roll to your side. And come to seated. We'll find a big breath in together. Pull hands into heart center. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace.